This conference will now be recorded.
In the last session, we've created manual bank reconciliation related configuration. We did all the settings, but when it comes to the posting rule, we've created only one posting rule creation, which is your check deposit or check receipt. Now, I told you all to create the remaining ones according to how we've created the first one. Once you create the first one, now I will show you on my company code how to test the first one. Check deposit alone. Then whatever the statement that you have, I want each of you to experiment, create your configuration, complete the pending config, upload the bank statement, make sure you're able to get the same bank statement closing balance in one single attempt. You can take n number of attempts until you arrive at that stage, but make sure the moment you feel that you are comfortable with BRS, when you upload the statement in one go without any error, all the statement related transactions must get processed. That is your requirement. Until you achieve single upload and all the transactions posted without any errors, you need to practice. No other shortcut for this. Okay, so that's why I'm not showing all the configurations, all the testing. If I show all the testing in one go, everything will get processed because I know how BRS will work, what things I need to consider before I make sure that there are no errors. But if I show you in that way, when you practice following me, you also do not get any errors, but in reality, it is quite opposite. So you'll get different errors, you'll get different scenarios. You will be able to handle these points only when you are able to upload this statement when there are many errors and you are able to understand the error and you are able to fix the error. This is the main criteria before you understand any topic from now on. So it has to be your individual experiment on the system to understand what exactly the functionality of it, how this is working, what kind of environment you will get on this particular topic when you're in any project. Okay. Now let's go to config SPRO. Financial accounting. Your BRS is part of bank accounting, so you have to open bank accounting here. In this business transaction, here payment related transaction. Okay. In this manual bank statement, from this, the second one is what we have done. Define posting keys and posting rules for manual bank statement is what we have completed. And this DICR, let me verify if the posting rule is configured or not. Let me open this. Chart of account DEGR. The posting, sorry, I have to check the posting rule. Let me double click on posting rule. Position, it's already here. DICR. And when you look at these posting rules like this on the screen also, we need to make sure that we are able to understand without getting any confusion. Point number one, if you see this is your chart of account, posting is one. One is your bank account posting, in short, GL to GL posting. If you have two, it's a subledger posting. Using BRS, you can directly debit or credit vendor account also. Posting key is 40. 40 means debit. Account symbol DIBM. According to us, DI is representing DEIN, Dell India. BM is representing bank main account. That is how the shortcuts we have created in the last session. Debit is going to bank main GL account. Credit, there is no posting key. When there is no posting key on the credit side, this represents you are clearing the credit account. When there is no posting key on the credit side, this represents you are clearing the credit account. From which account you are clearing the credit side? From DICI, which means check incoming account. In short, check incoming account will be a clearing document or clearing entry. Bank main account is a transfer posting. You are doing a transfer posting from check clearing account to the bank main account. Bank main account is debited, check clearing account will be credited. Document type you are using is ZR and posting type is 5. Posting type is 5, which is clear credit GL account. Close this. So this is again important. By looking at this, you have to in a position to understand what is the accounting entry, debit, credit, whether it is a direct posting or it is a clearing entry. So these basic points you have to make sure that you are in a position to understand without getting any confusion. Initially, you might get slight confusions, but when you see it couple of times, you will be fine. If you're not practicing on a regular basis, if you're not seeing it from a practical point of view, there will be definitely confusions. Make sure you ask and get your confusions clarified. Okay. Step number 2 is what we've completely configured. For one scenario alone, check incoming. I want everybody to configure the remaining scenarios from your side and ask me for any questions, doubts, errors that you are facing. This 1 sec. Okay. Again, let me go to the config path. Financial accounting, bank accounting, business transaction, payment transaction, manual bank statement. So currently we have done step number 2, account symbol posting rules is what we have completed. Next one, create and assign business transactions. Let us open this. And here straight away click on new entries. Don't look at what is there on the screen as of now. Let us go to the new entries, and here it is all about transaction. Okay, this transaction is a 4-digit alphanumeric code which is going to represent the nature of a BRS entry. Whether you're talking about check incoming, check outgoing, transfer incoming, transfer outgoing, bank expenses or bank income. Based on the nature of accounting entries or based on the number of accounting entries that you have for your BRS, for every accounting entry in BRS, you have to create one transaction type. For manual BRS, whatever the transaction type that you are creating is called as internal transaction type. When we talk about internal transaction type, this is a 4-digit maximum alphanumeric key which is of your own choice. You can create any 4 digits of your choice, but make sure when you're uploading the bank statement, when you're processing the bank statement, these transaction types will play a major role. Based on the transaction type, system is going to understand the posting rule, which means the accounting entry and all. So here left and right we should not create. You create a transaction type of a 4-digit, which is your internal transaction type, considering the nature of the transactions that you have in line with your business user, in line with your client. You need to discuss with your client and tell that this is how we are going to create, whether you want to create something like Z001, Z002 or something like ZB like Z bank reconciliation or BR bank reconciliation, CI check incoming, anything of 4 digits you need to take, especially when it comes to manual bank reconciliation. On the other side, the same points will be there on your electronic bank reconciliation also. In the electronic bank reconciliation, here you will find a change. Apart from this, there is no change. In the transaction type, for the electronic bank statement, you will find external transaction type. When you talk about external transaction type, these transaction types are provided by bank. you cannot create your own transaction type in case of BRS of electronic. In eBRS, especially the statement format that you talk about is MT940. When you talk about MT940 format, all the transaction types are predefined in MT940 format. Based on the MT940 formatted transaction types, you need to perform your configuration. Okay, so here, since it is a manual bank recon, we can create our own 4-digit internal transaction type. So what I'll do for check, I am going to use the same thing, DICR, check receipt. I'll put the same point here. Dell India check receipt. Now this check receipt, the financial implication of this check receipt, whether my bank account balance is going to increase or is going to decrease. If my bank account balance is going to increase with check receipt, I should put a plus. If my bank account balance is going to decrease with my check receipt, I have to decrease, which means a positive value or a negative value. Plus minus a symbol strictly to be added. According to this, what system will do? It will either increase your bank balance or decrease the bank balance. Whether you call it as debit or you call it as credit is your choice, because the debit credit from the accounting and banking is different. So that is why we don't call a concept of debit credit in your BRS. So this will be a positive value. Now posting rule. For this check receipt, which accounting entry I want system to pass? Press enter. Now posting rule is also same thing that we have created, DICR. So whenever there is a check receipt, I want system to pass an accounting entry, bank main account debit, check incoming account credit. That is what the posting mapping we have done in posting rule DICR. Next one, this account modifier, normally we do not use it. I'm not using here also. Interpretation algorithm. This is not a direct entry. If it is a direct entry, you can use standard interpretation algorithm. Since this is not a direct entry, this is a clearing entry. Whenever you have a clearing entry in your BRS, make sure you provide an algorithm based on which system is going to identify the open item. When you're talking about clearing of a check incoming account through BRS, there is one existing transaction in the check incoming GL account which you want to clear from check incoming GL account to bank main account. In bank main account, it is a direct entry. You're straight away debiting bank main account. When it comes to credit, your credit should offset the existing transaction in the bank incoming account. For that to happen, you need to make sure one criteria based on which your open item is identified. So first what I will do, I am going to update this one. Let's say assignment I'll take. Where do you find assignment? Clearing transaction selection using assignment. Basically, for any check that you will be using, we will be proceeding with assignment field. I am selecting assignment field here. Okay, you can put any description here. I'll put DEIN, check incoming. These are the steps that you are giving. The transaction is going to increase or decrease your bank account balance. Accordingly, plus minus a symbol to be placed. Posting rule is nothing but the journal entry of your BRS. Algorithm is used assignment or a reference document number. Based on what logic you are going to pick the open transaction. Since we are going with assignment, I have selected 15. Any description of your choice for this transaction. Click on save. Now this is done. I have done only one. The remaining ones in the similar way I want you to practice and then show me. I'll come back. Next one is the last step, define variant for manual bank statement. When you talk about define variant for manual bank statement, let me open this. If you open this, you will find a different variants. Now before we configure this, let me show you one screen. I'll take FF67. FF67 is the screen where you are going to perform your bank reconciliation. Open FF67. In this FF67, you will find a screen like this. This is your process manual bank statement. In this, you are going to provide company code, house bank, account ID, statement number, statement date. Every field is mandatory if you notice this. You must represent in which company code you are performing BRS, for which house bank, and for which account ID, what is the statement number, what is the statement date. This is the mandatory information for BRS. After this, you need to mention beginning balance is nothing but bank opening balance. You need to put bank statement opening balance and then the ending balance. Opening balance and then closing balance. When you put opening balance, closing balance, difference between opening balance and closing balance will become the statement balance or transaction balance. The difference between opening balance and closing balance will become the transaction or statement balance. Once you put that opening closing balance, system will automatically tell you the difference between opening and closing. For that difference, you need to provide the breakup. For that difference, you need to provide the breakup like whether you have check receipt transactions, check issue transaction, transfer related transactions, any expenses, any incomes, you need to provide based on the respective transaction which is appearing on your bank statement. Now, this is point number 1, wherein you are able to input house bank account ID. Sometimes you may not be seeing this screen, there may be a difference. When you find any difference, what you need to do, you need to go to settings. You need to open settings on the BRS screen. From the settings, click on specification. If you click on specification, you will find these options here. Point number 1, international bank determination or internal bank determination. What is this? This is your internal name. Okay, this is your internal ID or internal bank determination. Internal bank determination is based on house bank and account ID. If I don't tick this, see what will happen. It is now not asking the house bank company code account ID. Instead, it is asking what is your bank IFSC code or bank key followed by bank account number. Point number 1, you can give this. Point number 2, you can give house bank and account ID. It is always recommended that you go by house bank and account ID instead of this bank key and account ID. If you put any typo errors or if you put any incorrect bank account number, it will not work. You will end up getting all the errors. So this is always recommended. You go to specification and you take internal bank determination. Take this and import advices. We will keep it as it is. Next one, start variant. There is something called variant. This variant is what you are going to configure here. There is something called variant here. This is the variant which we are going to configure there. In this variant, whatever the fields that you are expecting inside the screen, we will be deciding. So this is the start variant that you need to tick, which is a configuration. In every project, you need to configure start variant as per the requirement. Next one, customer match code is D, vendor match code is K, which means the account type for customer, account type for vendor is D and K. Processing type. How do you want to process the BRS? Point number 1, you can process in foreground. The moment you execute, whatever is straightforward, system will pass the rectification or BRS entries. Point number 2, you can create a background job. Point number 3, you can create a batch input session. Majoritarily, we will be creating a batch input session. So that later on you can process it in background or in foreground. If there are any errors, you can fix the errors manually while executing the batch input session in the foreground. So first, what we need to do in the last step, you need to create a variant. For your bank reconciliation statement. That variant we need to assign in the start variant screen. Let me go to the variant screen here. Here what we will do, we will not create a new entry straight away. Instead, we will always copy from the standard variant. Standard variant will be 0001 or 1000. I think somebody deleted them. What I will do, I will select this one, BA01, which is talking about standard. Okay, you can copy from any variant. There is no rule that you need to copy from a specific variant. Since this is a practice environment, people would have created multiple things. They would have changed the existing naming convention, or somebody would have deleted. Anything is possible. So make sure when you're in a project, you are not going to delete any standard entries. Select the standard variant, click on copy. You will find an option called copy, and from here to variant. So I'll create with company code DEIN. So when you create, you also create with your company code DEIN. Click on save. Now the variant is copied from BA01 to DEIN. Here you will find a logic, which is the column number 1, offset length. Column number 1, offset length. Here what you need to do is, the length, it is a cumulative number. See, offsetting is always a cumulative number. When you talk about offsetting a cumulative number, if you see this, 3 plus 4 is a 7. It will be, the offsetting will be from 8th. Okay, 3 plus 4 is 7. It is always the next number. And 8 plus 10 is 18. This is again next number. 18 plus 15 is 34. Next one is 35. 35 plus 13 is 48. Next is 49. And 49 plus this 10, 59. The next one is a 60. 60 plus 10 will be 70. When you add another column, it will come by default as a 71. This means maximum you can add 99 characters here, not beyond that. Whatever the fields that you are adding, make sure the maximum offsetting length is 99, not beyond that. If you want to go beyond 99, you need to take the help of ABAP to do the customizations or to do the modifications on this screen. But in standard, strictly not more than 99 characters are allowed. So here let us verify what are these points. First one is your transaction. Transaction is nothing but external transaction that we were creating. Sorry, internal transaction that we created. This is needed. Second one is value date. In case if you want system to update value date, you can update value date. This is also required. Third one is amount. Amount is also needed. Fourth one is bank reference. Bank reference is also required. Next one cost center. Next one profit center. These two are also needed, because in case if you are uploading bank statement related to expenses, if the expense account is a cost element, you must require the cost center. And in case if you are posting any direct entries, we need to make sure for all the direct entries you have updated the profit center. As we know that without profit center, it will not allow us to record any transaction in SAP. Apart from this, if you feel that any other information is required, you can put this. If not, these points or this information is sufficient. Currently, I am going ahead with this information only. If you want anything, you can just double click on it. Let's say if I click on double click document number, this is giving output length. This will by default give you the standard length of this particular field. If I say OK, it will add a document number at the bottom. Column number will become 7. 60 plus 10, 70. This will become 71 plus 10. It will become 81. Let me click on continue. So it is telling 71 plus 10, 80. This is telling maximum length is exceeding. I'll put standard offset. Click on the standard offset. Now even if you put this, it is not taking, which means if I put document number, it is telling maximum line width is 80 only. Maximum line width is 80 only. In standard, you cannot go beyond 80. So this 99, whatever I said, is through customization. Okay, so 99 is what? Through customization. In standard, you can use only 80 characters. Anything which is exceeding 80, what you need to do, you need to remove one of the fields which is not relevant here and add the field which is required for you. Okay, now I'll click on save this. Now if you look at this, all these days we were talking about points related to customization request, but here if you see, this is triggering a workbench request. Okay, the generation of customization request or generation of a workbench request is not in your hand. You cannot decide whether to create a a customization request or a workbench request. This is based on the functionality which is predefined in the system. So this is directly affecting the program or a function. So anything which is directly affecting a program in the backend will trigger a workbench request. Okay, click on continue. This kind of 3-4 points you need to remember in case if somebody is asking us, can you give some examples where you will get a workbench request? So one of the point is this one, bank statement variant. Once this is created, we need to make sure our variant is activated. DEIN is our variant which is not activated as of now, and the name I have to change, DEIN BRS. Change the name and select this variant whatever you have created. If you look at this activation indicator is not enabled, which means this is not activated. Select this, top you will find an option called activate. The symbol, click on activate. Now you will find that the activated tick is enabled. Proceed to save. This is what you are able to save. Now next thing what we need to do, when you are inside the bank statement, point number 1, you need internal bank determination. Point number 2, you need the format as per your variant. For these two things to happen, you need to go to settings. On the settings, specification. On the specification, internal bank determination to be enabled. Start variant, remove this, and whatever we have created we need to pick. DEIN is what we created, DEIN BRS. Pick this DEIN BRS. Select this. How do you want to process your bank statement? We normally process as batch input session or background job, not the foreground. Okay, further processing as batch input, I am selecting with 1. I am proceeding with 1, or I can go with 2 also. Let me proceed with 1. Let's see how system will behave when you proceed with 1. But I want you to practice 4 statements, each statement representing 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want you to list out what is happening when you select 1, what is happening when you select 2, what is happening 3, what is happening 4. I want an answer from at least one of you practically. One of you at least practice with processing type 1. Notice what happened, 2 what happened, 3 what happened, 4 what happened. List out maybe 1 or 2 liners so that we can discuss further about it, because all these points are possible questions in your interviews. I'm proceeding with 1. Click on continue. Now here we are ready with the configuration. Next thing is to make sure that you are able to test your bank statement. Before you test your bank statement, you need to have test data. When you wanted to have a test data, you need to make sure you are clear with your requirement. Your requirement is to test bank reconciliation, for which you have created these many posting rules. When you are testing, make sure if you are testing in the real environment, you are testing your bank statement always with all the transaction types. Initially what you will do, you will test with single transaction type to make sure that each transaction type is working fine. This is how you need to test when you're in a project. It is not that you put everything and you will not understand which one is creating a problem. You will waste your time in it. That way is not recommended. Always test in a way which will reduce your time. Test in a way that will add confidence to you when you're actually working in a project. For that, what you need to do, take out the first one. Check deposit, post only one entry. Post one single document to the check incoming account. Update one single statement only with one line. Make sure you are able to clear it. If you are able to clear one transaction, and you will be able to clear 100,000 transaction also, because system is going to work on the same way. Whatever the logic is provided, based on the same logic, it will behave, it will work. If it is working fine for one scenario, it should work for all the scenarios whenever your criteria is satisfied. If the criteria is not satisfied, it will not clear. If it is not clearing, then you will understand what is going wrong, whether amount is not matching, assignment numbers are not matching, you will figure out. But make sure whenever you are testing it, you test one by one first, though this will take a little time, but you are not going to sit again and again on it. You are not going to face any further problems on it. Make sure you sit one time, you test one time, with which will give you the positive result, which will make you feel comfortable, which will make you feel confident. First one, I am going to test it. When I wanted to test it, first I should know for which bank I am configuring this. First I must know for which bank I am configuring this. So far when you did the configuration, nowhere we have mentioned this BRS configuration is related to a particular bank account. Correct? We have not provided any bank account related information till now. Reason, bank reconciliation statement is a dynamic or is a generic, is a common configuration at chart of account level. This configuration is maintained at client level based on the chart of account to make sure any company code, any bank account which is operated under your operating chart of account can use the same bank reconciliation, this one. When you talked about this masking concept, based on the masking concept, you can apply this configuration to any bank account of yours. Because nowhere you have mentioned that this is related to HDFC Bank, this is related to State Bank, this is related to Axis or any other bank. So that is why we call this as masking. System is going to identify the GL account based on your house bank and account ID or bank key and account number. So which will be mentioned while processing the bank statement here. If you put house bank and account ID, for example, I'll go to SE16N. To find out the house bank and account ID mapping, table is T012K. These tables you must remember. No exception that you will not remember this. There is no shortcut, there is no exception for it. You have to remember this. How you will remember is your choice. If you practice 2-3 times, automatically things will sit in your mind. T012K, I'll put company code as DEIN. I'll straight away execute. In this company code, we have two house banks. First one is Axis, second one is Test. When I give house bank account ID, system is going to identify this is your bank account number, this is the bank account currency, this is the GL account. Based on the house bank and account ID, system is going to identify your bank account number followed by the GL account number. Now it will pick this GL account by default, and with this GL account, system is going to play with this logic. When you're using this, it will take the same GL account number, it will just replace 1 at the end, it will replace 2 at the end, 3 at the end, 4 at the end. But for which GL account? For this GL account which it is finding from the T012K table, either based on house bank account ID match code or based on bank key and bank account number match code. Clear? In case if somebody is asking you how will system find out that this statement is related to this bank and I have to use this bank GL account, you must talk about the table called T012K. If you are not telling T012K, whatever you tell will represent that you do not have a practical experience or you do not have any work experience on BRS. Because if you at least work for one single statement or one single bank statement for one day actually in a real environment, you will come to know these points, right? So this table is important. In the table, I'll put this one. I'm going to put this as house bank and account ID. This is the account ID. Company code, statement number, I can take anything. Let me take statement number 1. Statement date, I can take any date, but for now I am taking current date. Make sure when you are practicing bank reconciliation statement, you will pay very good attention at statement date. Today I am practicing my BRS with the statement date as 18. After that, I cannot put yesterday's date. Your statement date, your statement number is always in the sequential order. If my statement number is 1, next statement must be 2, and the date must be either on the same date or the later date. It should not be the same date, because one day you will not upload two statements of the same day. It is always that today's statement you will upload tomorrow, so that you will not find any duplicates. So one statement, one date, and it is in the sequential order. Next upload when you do, or next BRS testing you will do, make sure you will put statement number 2. Statement date will be the next date. Beginning balance will be the previous statement closing balance, and
Sir,
ending balance will be the current statement closing balance. For now, to
sir,
eliminate any confusions, what I will do, I will put the statement date as 1st July. Yes, please go ahead.
sir, account ID is not correct, sir. Not your ID, house bank ID.
This is not ours.
AX0111, sir, I think. 11.
Okay, AX011. Right. All right. Thank you. Not 011. Sorry, I've put company code wrong. This is DEIN. You're right. AX01. Okay, when you put this and when you hit enter, you will get a message that first statement. This is just a warning message. This is just a warning message. Whenever it is the first statement, which means you have to give your opening balance, closing balance, there will be no check for this. There will be no check for this, but from the second statement onwards, system will strictly verify your opening and closing balance matching. It will ensure the statement opening balance is matching with previous statement closing balance. Otherwise, it will not allow you to process the statement. First of all, that is not a right approach. You need to make sure current statement opening balance is always the same amount of your previous statement closing balance. Okay, this is the first statement that I'm taking. Now, before I process this, we need to make sure that we will take some transaction value, for which let me take the GL account. This is the GL account number. Observe carefully how I am arriving, or how I am calculating the numbers for this bank statement, because I want all of you to create the statement, upload for the remaining transaction types on your own, and then show me. I'll go to FAGLL03 point number 1. I'm giving my main bank account. I'll click on execute. When I click on execute in the main account, currently there is a transaction of 225 negative balance. So I'll put bank main GL. What is the GL number? This is the GL account number. Copy this, and if I put this, the current account balance in this GL account is 225 negative balance. I'll put minus 225. This is your current statement balance. Current statement balance, or the current balance in the bank main account. Whenever you are talking about BRS, bank reconciliation statement, you are going to validate your statement balance with bank main account balance, which is ending with 0. And after that, whatever the scenario that you are going to execute, put that accordingly. What I'll put, let's say I'll put test case. In the test case, I am writing check incoming. Let's say I will put 1,225 positive. Now I will write closing balance. I am uploading only one, so that there will be no confusion. Now if I do a sum for this, my closing balance should become 1,000. My closing balance should become 1000 because before I upload this statement, what is the balance available in the bank main account? This is the balance available in bank main account. This will become your opening balance, and your transaction balance is 1225 and the closing balance will become 1000, which means once you complete your bank reconciliation statement, your bank reconciliation statement closing balance and your bank main account closing balance should exactly match. Currently, bank main account GL is showing 225 negative. Once you process this BRS with this transaction, your bank main account must show 1000 positive number. Any question on this before I load this in SAP? Clear? Okay. Now, when you are creating this, make sure you are able to create a test case. For test case, you are concerned about an open item in the check incoming account. You need an open item in the check incoming account. For testing purpose, you can bring open item in any way. For testing purpose, you can bring the open item in any way, but in real time, you will get the open item. Okay. In real time, you will get the open item in the check incoming account based on the customer transaction majority. Whenever you receive the customer payment, that is where you are going to debit check incoming account and you are going to credit customer account. For our test scenario, we are not bothered about how the item or how the transaction is getting posted. You are only concerned about whether you are hitting a debit to bank check incoming or not. To the respective bank sub account, you are hitting a debit or credit is what you have to focus. Don't think that I need to create accounts receivable and all. You are not supposed to get deviated from what you are actually testing. If you're deviating, you are going out of bank reconciliation statement to customer and all, which is not required at the beginning stage. Once you understand the concept, you can create exactly the same way, create a customer invoice, receive the amount from customer and then perform BRS for it. But initially, until we understand the logic concept, we have to go in a different way, wherein you will find it simple, easy to connect to the point. Here what I am going to do, I am going to pass one incoming account receipt, for which I am not using a customer account. What I will use, I'll simply go to FB50. So I am talking about 01. I'll put 01 and BRS 01. So my receipt is what? Check incoming is ending with 1. So make sure I will take a GL account which is ending with 1. 1 to all zeros. I'll put this here. I will replace the last digit with 1 so that this will become incoming account. Access INR check incoming account. Since this is an incoming account, your offsetting account must be a credit. I'll put a debit here for 1225, 1225. Next one, to the credit side, I can take any revenue related GL account. 3 series, I am taking, let's say, just ignore why I am taking the credit to this particular account. We are not bothered about where you are taking the offset. We are only concerned about posting a debit to this GL account. Your focus should be only on this bank sub account posting, not the offsetting account. Don't think this. If you think this, you will get into unnecessary confusions. Don't focus on that. Clear? Our intention is to make sure you get one open item for 1225 positive debit balance in bank sub account. You can use any offsetting account to bring that. For your first initial practice, don't consider what are the offsetting accounts. Once you get the logic, you can create the exact scenarios. I am taking 1225 here. Text I'll put BRS 01. Profit center. DEIN 01. Enter. Okay, this entry I am posting on first this one. But before I process this, I want to make sure in the bank sub account, what are all the transactions that are currently available. FAGLL03, this is 21, execute. There is one outstanding of 17,965, which we are not considered now. I'm not going to consider this. You are going to add another open item, another line item of the different one. But if you see this, currently this is not managed as open item, correct? If you see this, this is a line item. Now here I came to know that there is something wrong with my bank GL master. What I need to do, I need to go to FS00. Now all these points you have to verify as prerequisites before you start working on BRS or even before you start practicing. FS00 DEIN bank account, we were talking about Axis Bank 21, and if I go to control data, this is not open item enabled. First I need to enable this open item, otherwise it is not possible for us to perform the BRS. If I tick open item, if I click on save, this is not working because there are already transactions, open item cannot be activated. But this is something which we already discussed. How do I activate open item for this? Anybody remember how this open item is activated?
Activate underscore open underscore I.
1, 2, 3. I have used all the processings. Yes. Tell me the T code. FAGL. You're not audible.
I think opening. I think I.
So what is the transaction code if you do not remember the T code? To verify the transaction codes, what is the T code?
SCA93.
SE93. You need to go to SE93. You put FHEL underscore. You keep typing, you will start receiving the suggestions. You have activation of open item management is here. You need to use this one, FHEL underscore activate underscore OP. Take this, click on execute. So it says this is not supported in S4HANA systems. What else? So we have used a program. To use a program, SA38 is the transaction code. You can also use SE38, but majoritarily in real time we may not be authorized to use SE38. Instead you will have SA38. Put SA38. There are some programs. FINS switch to open item, is this correct? Alright, this is the right one. FINS underscore switch underscore TO underscore open underscore item. This is the program name through which you will be able to activate the open item management. Okay, click on execute. Here you need to give, this is coming in this language, German language. This is your company code DEIN. It is talking about the GL account. The GL account that we are talking about is what? Is this? 1 to all zeros 21. This GL account we are talking about, and you need to look at the date. For that you need to look at the existing GL transactions. In the existing GL transaction, whatever the date that you have, 4/7/2023, make sure you give a later date than this so that this will get converted as open item as it is. I'll take 4/7/2023. 04/07/23. Test run. Click on execute. So there is some error message that you are getting. Go back. I'll put 01. Execute. Same error. For this, last time we understood something. This is activating on the month closing date. This is posted on what month? July month. Your entry is posted on July month. Previous month closing date we need to consider. So period number 6 closing date will be 30/06/23. Let me put 30/06/23. Click on execute. Still the same problem. Go back. Execute again. DEIN. I'll put 31/07/23. Click on execute. Still the same error. Anybody remember how did we activate this last time?
Sir, try to SE38, sir.
SE38?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same thing from here. This GL account. This I'll take 30/06 previous month closing date. Click on execute. Same error. Execute. GL account, company code. So this I'll take current month closing date. Execute. Not working. All the messages that you are receiving is in the German language. And for these kind of messages, if you want to understand, you need to copy that message and convert from German to English. Zero 0107 if I take, it is not working. How did we activate? I want somebody to explain me this now. Now, if you are practicing this, if you are getting this kind of errors, in our practice environment, it is very easy. We will ignore this and you will create another GL account, but that will never be the case when you're in a project. You have to fix whatever the errors that are coming, whether they are related to the particular topic or not. You must fix all the associated issues and then complete the testing. Now we are stuck with a point where the GL account is not an open item. How do I make this as open item? Yes, I want somebody to assist me in this. No old items present on the table. Go back. If I remove the test run, if I try to do this, only background, program execute in background, LP01, continue. So which means you're not practicing on a daily basis. Now let me try to refresh this GL account. This is 20, and if I open 21, now 21 is now become open item management. It has now become open item management. So I'm not answering this what I did. I want somebody to ask me questions, only then I will answer what I did to activate this. For that I want you to take this scenario, execute, post one GL account wherein you need to activate the open item management for a balance sheet, and any errors, confusions that you get, put a question, then I'll answer. I'll make you understand what needs to be done. Okay. Now I'll go to FB50. Before that, let me refresh this GL line item report. Currently, this is showing us line item report. That is why you see this tick. Let me refresh this. Now you will find the red icon, which means open item. What I am going to perform now, I'll take this on, let's say on 5th, I'll take next to that previous entry, 2023. BRS, BRS, one to all zeros 21, FB50, zero 05 07 23, BRS, BRS, 1 to all zeros 21, and here it will be 3 series. Non-operating income, debit and credit 1225, 1225, something in the text, and then a profit center, DEIN01, DEIN01. And while processing this, make sure if there are any other criteria that you need to put. Now, according to our BRS configuration, for the posting rule, whatever we are using for check incoming, you've created one transaction type. For that transaction type, your algorithm is assignment column. Based on the assignment field, we are going to perform the clearing, for which make sure your GL account will have a proper assignment field. According to that, your check incoming account, double click on this line item. You will get a screen like this. Currently it is blank. Assuming that you are going to process based on the check number, your check number is, let's say, 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is the check number. Let's say this is the check number. Based on this check number, you are going to match this BRS entry, or based on this check number, you are going to perform the reconciliation. Go back. Amount is 1225. Let me make sure 1225, correct? And I'll proceed to save. Once it is posted, first thing that you do is go to your check incoming account, refresh the report, and you will find 1225 open here. While using BRS functionality, you are clearing this 1225 from this account, and you are moving this 1225 to the main account. 1225 positive should come here. The closing balance should become 1000 from 225 negative. This is your expectation. This is your expected result once you perform this BRS. All these points you must list out on your Excel sheet or on a piece of paper before you execute, before you practice on your SAP system. If you are straight away doing it, it is not going to be clear. You are not going to understand what is actually happening on the system. Please be very sure that the way I am showing, in the similar way you are practicing, to make sure you understand the logic behind this. If you understand this, any problem, any issue that you get of any complexity, you will be able to sit and then resolve it confidently. Now, first point, let us go to BRS now. Statement number 1, I am taking statement date as what this transaction is posted on 5/7. So I will be reconciling it after this date, which means I will post it on 6/7. 6/7. Statement date I will take 06/07. Okay, posting date also I'll take same 0607. First thing that I need to do is I take the opening balance. Opening balance is nothing but your bank GL account closing balance of the previous date. For 5th July, whatever is the closing balance you have for the bank main account, that will be your closing balance. Sorry, opening balance. In our case, this is 225 negative, and the end balance is nothing but this one. Closing balance is 1000. You need to put 1000 as closing balance. Let me put 1000 closing balance. Now what system is going to do on the next screen? It will identify the difference between opening balance and closing balance. If you identify the difference between this and this plus this.
Sir, your voice not audible, sir.
Sorry. So we need to make sure the bank statement balance, whatever you are getting, is the difference between opening balance and closing balance. Sum of your opening and closing balance is resulting 1225 positive number. Make sure this number is your transaction figure. If you upload one entry or you upload multiple entries, you need to make a note that all the transaction wise breakup you have, which is totaling to the same amount. So this is what a transaction type that we have created. You have created a DI and CR, correct? Is this DICR? DICR is the transaction. Put DICR here, value date. On what date the check is cleared in your bank account? Let's say check is cleared on 6th. I'll put value date. Amount single transaction 1225. You are going to identify or you are going to match this bank statement based on assignment field. For DICR, you are going to perform the clearing based on assignment number. Look at the document that you have processed. Let me display this document. If I open the bank sub account, this is the assignment number that I took. Copy this assignment number, put the assignment number in bank reference. Okay, this bank reference is going to be used as assignment field for matching. And when I press enter, this 1225 should appear here as entered amount. This entered amount, the bank amount must match each other. If it is not matching, then you will find it difficult. When I press enter, you need to make sure the entered amount, bank amount are matching. Once these two are equal, proceed to save. I am not giving any cost center, I am not giving any profit center because this is a clearing entry. For any clearing entry, system is going to bring the document splitting into the picture. It will automatically detect profit center based on the existing open line item, which is your passive document splitting. Click on save. First save will save the transaction. Second save will post the transaction. Now the save that you have done is the one time. First time whenever you save, the statement will get saved. you need to click on save again so that your statement will get posted. Okay, now let me click on post. If I click on post, this is what you are getting, the update. On this update, you need to pay attention on three areas. You need to pay attention on three areas. Area number one, FB01. As we discussed, you have two type of entries. In your BRS, you have two type of entries. First one is a direct entry. Second one is a clearing entry. When it is a direct entry, you will find FB01 count. When it is a clearing entry, you will find FB05 count. Currently, we have uploaded something related to check incoming. According to us, check incoming is a clearing entry. If I go to check incoming, let me go to BRS. If you see this, this is what we are currently testing. Check incoming, this we have updated as clearing entry. Any clearing entry will be updated as FB05, which system will use as post with clearing. If it is not a clearing entry, if it is a direct entry like this, we also listed certain things as direct entry. For direct entries, it will update FB01. For clearing entries, it will update FB05. So you must know what kind of entries you are posting. Accordingly, you are able to figure out, okay, your statement is uploaded properly or not. Blindly, if you are uploading, then you are doing a mistake, which you are not supposed to do. There are only one single transaction. Total count is 1. There are 0 errors. No postings happened because this is going to get processed in the background as batch input session. One clearing entry, no direct entries. Total transactions is 1. Total transaction value is 1225. Go back. Okay. Next one, what you need to do, SM35. This has created a batch input session. Go to SM35. If you go to SM35, you will find a batch input session here with house bank and account ID created by your name. Created by your name. This is what it has created. You will find the number of transactions is 1. And processed with errors 0, processed 0. This is number of screens that system is going to undergo. Ignore this one. You need to focus only on these three. Total transaction, processed with error, processed without error. Currently 0, nothing is processed. You need to select this. This is the exact way your user is going to process BRS in the real environment. In case if they face any problems, you are going to come to the batch input session. You will open the session. You will have to look at the job log or the session log, understand why the entry is not getting posted, advise what needs to be done to process this. Okay, select this, click on process. Now this is the same thing that we did during our LSMW. Initially when we did LSMW, whatever you did, it is the same process. So for the first one, I am not going to process display errors only. When you have more transactions, once your configuration is tested one by one, you need to test with display errors only. Initially you test with process foreground or background. Sorry, firstly you put process foreground only, so that you will come to know what system is doing. When I click on this, you will find the screen which is post with clearing. This is what system is going to perform in the backend. All the data is automatically filled up. Document date, posting date is coming from your statement date, posting date. Document type is coming from your DICR posting rule. Company code currency, this is document header text 263 all zeros 1. So we will see what this number is representing about. Next one, clearing document text 397974. This is 397974. If you look at this, this is the check number. Because this is clearing based on the check number, this check number it is taking as clearing text. And a debit it is posting to 1 to all zeros. Now if you look at what system has done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What it has taken? It has taken 8 digit. Now this has taken 8 digit based on our configuration. Let me go to this. Your GL account is 8 digit, system has taken 8. Let me go to config, SPRO F5, financial accounting, bank accounting, business transaction, payment transaction, manual bank statement. First one, in the masking, what we did here, if I go to assign account, we have given 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, overall 8 digits. So what system has taken? Whatever you have given, it has taken 8 digits, but the number that we are supposed to give here is 10 digits, the standard length of chart of account, because you are not writing the complete GL account. If you are writing the complete GL account, we have to put strictly the GL number. If you are masking it, you must put with 10 digit as masking. So I will put the remaining plus here, and here also I'll put remaining plus, here also I'll put remaining plus. Understood, right? If you put 8 digits, what system is doing? Understood what system is doing here? It is truncating the number and your bank GL account is not coming proper. So what I will do, I will cancel this because I know this is wrong. I am going to cancel this. To cancel this, just put /n, session overview. You will get to know this is error, number of transaction 1, processed with errors is 1, processed with a success is 0. You need to reprocess again. Select this, click on process again, process foreground, process. Still it is doing the same thing. So what I will do, I will update this because it is not reflecting with the change. After the change, the statement is not reprocessed. After the change, statement is not reprocessed. Those changes will reflect when you reprocess the statement again. Because when this is updated in the backend, whatever the previous settings were there, according to that it is considered. But when we upload the next statement, it is going to pick up the right configuration which is available. So you can modify this here as well. So I'll put 1 to all zeros, 20, enter. Okay. Now this is your bank main account. It has taken assignment here. Click on continue. Cost center, profit center, it is not taking anything. Continue. If you focus here, it is taking this account number here. 1 to all zeros 1, but this is not this GL account. This GL account is what? This. When you do process in foreground only, this is the advantage. You can edit the GL account numbers. 1 2 3 4 and 21. Next, when I click on enter, if you look at this, it is taking the field as ZUONR, which is the assignment. It is updating this from the bank reference that you have updated in the bank statement. Click on continue, and it is telling exchange rate accounts are incomplete for this particular GL account. Okay, let me quickly update this. These are all the prerequisites, conditions that you need to make sure you are clear with. Otherwise, you will end up doing a mistake. If you are only performing BRS config when you are testing, you will find different errors. All these errors, wherever these things are coming, we need to understand, fix it. DEGR. It is asking for exchange rate GL accounts for 12021. Click on save. Now I have updated it. Let me simulate it now. Click on simulate. Now I'll try to post it. Now this is processed. Through BRS it has processed. Now you came to know that there are certain errors. Error number 1, it is not detecting your bank GL account properly. That is because of your masking. In the masking, we have not put 10-digit number. That is why it is truncating. Now you updated, in the next statement, it will work properly. Error number 2, exchange rate differences were coming because your sub accounts are not updated as open item clearing. In your OB09, the open item exchange rate difference we did not put, that we have put. So these are the 2 errors we found out. These 2 errors, you need to make a note of it. Tomorrow, if somebody is asking what kind of errors you got it, you can tell the same points. You can tell exactly the same point. When you did the configuration, according to you thought that it is 8 digits your chart of account, you put 6 plus and then 7 plus followed by last digit. But when you were testing, you realized that it is not working as expected. Then you understood the masking should be 10 digits. These points is what you have to mention in your interview if somebody is asking if you faced any issues, challenges in your implementation or in your previous experiences. Not always the end user errors. You should also mention, you should also talk about points where you got confused, where you learnt by your mistakes. Clear? Now if I look at the balances, first of all, check incoming. If I refresh, this 1225 should disappear. 1225 disappeared. So point number 1 is correct. Point number 2, your bank main account, when you refresh from 225 negative, it should become 1000 positive. Go to list, refresh. Now it has become 1000 positive. Correct? Is this working? The numbers are coming as per our understanding, as per our test case? Yes, no? So you need to make some simple examples of your choice and do it. The more number of errors that you are getting, the more chances that you have that you will become more perfect. If you're not getting any errors, you're able to do whatever I did without any errors, then you're actually not learning. You have to get errors, you have to get different confusions, doubts, and make sure all your errors, you will understand where you are going wrong, what mistakes you are committing. All your doubts, confusions, you get clarified. For that, it is only possible when you practice, when you get errors, when you get confusions, you can ask me a question. I want you to practice, experiment, get different errors, get different doubts, confusions. Ask me, get everything clarified. Clear? All right then, let me stop the recording.